Thank you, Megha ma'am. Thank you, Solomon sir, the principals of Aspie Group of Schools. I now request Ms. Priyanka to give the preliminary, the housekeeping instructions so that we can begin right on time. Over to you, Ms. Priyanka.
Thank you, ma'am. Good morning, respected principal, ma'am, teachers, speakers for today's webinar, parents, and my dear students. It's a wonderful Saturday morning, and it gives me great pride to introduce Aspi Nutan Academy's first ever career guidance session called Anna Ed Talks. Before we begin, here are some ground rules for today's session. Everyone is requested to keep themselves on mute throughout the session. Participants can keep their video off during the presentation. Questions and queries will be addressed during the Q&A session at the end. Students are requested. Sir, I request you to kindly mute Dr. Umang. Thank you so much, sir. Students are requested to switch on their camera and unmute themselves while asking the questions. No student will leave the meeting room till the webinar is over, as this would be disrespectful towards the school and our guest speakers. At the end, we request all the attendees to switch on their cameras for a Kodak moment to mark our first episode of Anna Ed Talks. Without any further ado, I now welcome our respected principal, ma'am, Mrs. Nuzhat Khan. Over to you, ma'am.
A very good morning to the esteemed guests, the doctors on board today, Dr. Paras Kothari and Dr. Umang. My God, it gives me, I'm feeling jittery because we have the frontline warriors of COVID present with us today. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, both of you, for consenting and for gracing this occasion. I also like to welcome the members of the management of Aspie Group of Schools, my dearest, I would not say ex, but my dearest principal from whom I have learned a lot, Mrs. Nutan Pandya, my co-principals, Mr. Solomon, who has also worked with me in SSC board, and we have been a great team as always. So I welcome Mr. Selva Solomon, Mrs. Megha Pavaskar, the principal of Gujarati Medium.
Thank you, madam.
And the supervisors of English Medium, Mrs. Greta Pinto.
Thank you, ma'am.
Ms. Priyanka Jha, Ms. Pinky Patel, all the teachers of Aspie Group of Schools, esteemed parents who are the main soul of Aspie Nutan Academy, and my forever loved, beloved students. Welcome you all to the first Ed Talks of Aspie Nutan Academy. I welcome you to this first episode of Ed Talks. The whole idea of Career Talks at Anna was to open the plethora of career opportunities at the right time. When I say career opportunities, I mean the right career choice to be made at school in the last 3 grades. In my span of about 20 years as an educationist, I have witnessed many cases where students, after passing out from school, come perplexed to find rescue for their dwindling, confused future. Many a times, wrong subject choices at colleges are made, resulting and ending up in disheartened souls as they realize that they have taken up a subject that does not lead to a desired career. Students, these Ed Talks will help you and provide you with a clearer picture of various fields and options. They will help you decide which profession to choose and which stream to select, as once you pass out from the school, you will be headstrong about where to lead. We will introduce you to professions which are professionals who are indebted and owe a big time to their alma mater, which is Aspie Nutan Group of Schools, for their success today, as we have done today. Carl Jung once said, medicines cure diseases, but only doctors cure patients. The reason to have medical and medicine as a first profession for discussion was because we knew that after pandemic, when the world, during the pandemic, I would say, when the world was locked And it was these frontline COVID warriors, that is the doctors, who moved out of their homes bravely, courageously to protect the human race. And today, with respected feeling and humble soul, I really join my hands and I thank all the doctors across the globe to save our lives. The career in MBBS and higher studies in education for students is a very prospective one. When the team of EdTalks was researching, we found that this is one profession. So when I say MBBS, when you do your MBBS, it is 100% guaranteed job. You will never find an MBBS person sitting idle or without a job. Is that right, doctors? Medical career in India and abroad is one of the most lucrative and highly respectable fields. We all know India is a fast-growing economy and the second most populous country. In spite of the rapid developments in other fields, the performance, when judged on healthcare parameters, remain very poor. One of the dominant discourses in the public health domain with context of provisions of universal health coverage is the shortage of adequate number of qualified medical doctors and other healthcare professionals in India. The WHO has promulgated desirable doctor population rate as 1:2,000. Yet, we have covered that only by 44%. Responding to these challenges, there has been a major thrust on increasing the capacity of graduate training programs, that is MBBS, at medical institutions across India. This study by WHO proves that there is a dire need for well-qualified doctors in our country. And while we are studying and researching on this session, and when we typed the top 5 most searched medical specialists in India, I was amazed to see that at the top, it was dentist. So here we have Dr. Paras Kothari, a dentist, and we all know how important these people are in our lives. They say when an army man faces a dental issue or a toothache, he's sent back from the battlefield because this is one pain that affects your entire body. So welcome, Dr. Paras. And then I was researching about the doctors who are in most demand. So there came a plastic surgeon. So Dr. Umang, thank you very much for joining us. We all know how, looks and good looks matter. So I was very conscious when I was dressing up today. I said a plastic surgeon and a cosmetologist and somebody who's into this field. So thank you so much. And he has not just done his MBBS and his general surgery, but he's specialized as a plastic surgeon, which I will read when I do his introduction. So once again, welcoming you all. We now proceed to the second part of this webinar, which is the introduction of the speakers. I introduce the speakers in the order of the schedule. Today, this is a very big task given to me, thanks to the committee. I'm indeed blessed to introduce one of the best alumnus of our ASPI group of schools, Dr. Paras Kothari. Dr. Paras Kothari, he's an alumnus of ASPI Nutan Vidya Mandir, the Gujarati medium. As an educationist, I was amazed to see his academic performance in school. And his teacher, Mrs. Nutan Pandya, told me that he has always been a very dedicated, diligent, devoted student. And he had topped the school in 2000 SSC board examination. He completed his graduation in Bachelor of Dental Surgery in 2007 from the prestigious Padma Shri D.Y. Patil Dental College under the merit quota. After working with Mumbai's renowned dentist, he pursued his master's in dental surgery in the field of endodontist and restorative dentistry from the K.M. Shah Dental College, Vadodara in 2013. Since then, he's been into a private practice as a root canal specialist and cosmetics dentist. He's a trained implantologist with ITI Academy, Switzerland. Dr. Paras and his wife run their private practice under the banner of Specialty Dental Clinic on the Link Road, Malad, which is one of the few microscope with enhanced dental practices in India. He has also been conducting himself as a key leader and speaker for Japanese and Polish companies. They say learning multiplies when shared. Dr. Kothari believes in learning through sharing. Teaching being his passion, Dr. Paras has taken more than 40 lectures across India for young dentists and wishes to continue spreading the flame of knowledge even in the future. Today, we are fortunate to have him as a speaker to share his thoughts and ideas on dentistry as a prospective medical career. Dr. Paras Kothari, thank you so much. Thank you is actually a very small word, but you have again made a history in SP Nutan School by being the first EdTalk speaker. And we welcome you, Doctor.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Dr. Paras Kothari, the platform is all yours. Before I introduce Dr. Umang, we would like to hear a few words of your journey. I wouldn't say from cradle to dash, but I would say from cradle to the peak of zenith of success that you are at today. Over to you, Doctor.
Yeah. Hi, good morning, all of you. I am the past students of Nutan Gujarati medium. When I was approached by Nutan ma'am and Nusrat ma'am, I was learned that the platform what we are talking today, the students ranges from all the categories, from SSC board to CBSC as well as ICSC. So coming from that SSC board background, I will like to keep my talk more of the, you can say, relatable English or maybe English, what we called, little bit of Hindi and all, so that I can approach and make understand all of the parents who are listening to me today. Okay. As a journey, if you tell me, we both brothers are from Gujarati medium. And after completing my schooling, many people think that here I want to make a note that many people think that if you're a school topper or if you're doing very well, you can be doctor or engineer or lawyer very well. But you misunderstand that as soon as you pass your school, maybe you are out of the most secure zone of your life, and you are thrown into that jungle. And when you go into the 11th, 12th standard, every next bencher or both the sides of you are there. Individually, they are the toppers of their individual school. Okay. So when I passed from Nutan, the scenario was different. I went to Sathe Parel College, which is in Parel. First, we had a hierarchy. First, usually Ruparel, then the Sathe. I used to get in the Ruparel, but because of my classes and all medical field, I chose Sathe. 2 years in Sathe. Many people think that coming from the vernacular medium, it takes little time to, and you cannot go into the competitive field. I think we have already proven that wrong. If you have wish and the courage, I think you can easily. Many people think that do ICSC board or somebody has a neck over SSC. I will straightforward put it right away. Yes, definitely. The state boards students lack somewhere a little bit, definitely, compared to when it comes to the competitive exams. But if you do well, there is nothing, no problem, that the percentage is equally good if you are coming from the states board. Okay. After finishing my BDS, which is a like for the BDS, you have to give your CET exams after the 12th standard. Now it is called as a NEET exam. I think we will come to that hierarchy later when we talk about it later. But after completing my, after 12th standard, I went into D.Y. Patil Dental College through my merit quota and then completed my BDS there. After that, I worked for 2 years, did a master's, came back to Bombay again. And then on, I'm in a private practice, and it's been almost like a journey of more than 8 years as a specialist. I work as a multiple dental clinics, high-end dental clinics in India, in Bombay, where we treat some of the, you can say, the VVIPs of Bombay as well as India. and some of the faces, media faces, or the you can say, celebrity actors and actresses of film industries. So I'm lucky enough to have my hands on them also. And yes, the dentistry is a good lucrating branch, maybe a good rewarding branch also, as you said. It's one of those pain which is considered one of the most crucial. The pain which is ranked second after the labor pain, the toothache, and the person who has it will remember throughout his life that what it is and how bad it is. So it's a good rewarding branch. So as everybody says, being a doctor is a noble branch. Obviously, you can give back to your society. Scenario is changing. You cannot you cannot say it's a very free give and take job. It is a service now. We are also under the GST. We also pay the taxes. So it's no more than you have your overheads. But yes, it's a very quite satisfactory profession as a doctor. You can say always it's always a white collar profession. You are always looked upon as one of few in country and around. Yeah. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Dr. Paris. That was a really, encouraging. And your words where you said that I'm coming from a vernacular medium, and where I am today only gives testimony to the fact that you just have to have a strong will and desire to achieve. And nothing in the world, the sky is the limit. You can just do whatever you want in the world. There's no saying impossible. Even impossible says, I am possible. So that was very well said. Sir, a few questions that the children had put on for you, and especially for you, Dr. Paris Kothari. So the first one is, they were very curious to know, which they wanted to learn from both of you. I'll ask Dr. Umang also. How did you decide that you wanted to become a doctor?
So I think many of you might be knowing our background. We come from the medical background. Father is dentist. So from childhood, we have seen the kind of, you can say aura, or maybe respect what you get as a doctor. When we passed out, when we were learning, we had an option of going into any of the field. He never kind of pressurized us to be a doctor. But I always was quite confirmed that I want to be a doctor from very start. And I have decided in a very young age that I will be a doctor. I decided on dentistry in a later part of my life. To be very frank, when I saw around, like I used to see my dad's friends and all, I always wanted a life which is more relaxed. If you put it in a words, like Umang's life is more busy.
Yes.
Yeah. So dentistry, very frankly, put it in a word, dentistry is a job where you have your own life. You have your own fixed time of consulting as well as working. Dental pain to certain extent are not the life threatening. Like nobody dies because of the dental pain, and there is no emergency in dentistry. So I like my night sleep very much. I don't get any emergency phone calls unless it's a little tooth pain, which is controlled by usually a painkiller, and patient can easily wait for overnight. So I always wanted a life which is more relaxing compared to the toxic what surgeons have, like what Umang has and all. So that's why I decided I will like to go for the dental field per se in the medicine. But medicine, yeah, I was quite confirmed. I think from the point I was into almost, you can say 8th or 9th standard, where you start developing your IQ to at least choose your field, what you want. And I think before me, I will put it here, like I think Nutan ma'am used to tell me from that time that I see a doctor in you. I don't know how, but
She has a far-sightedness, She always have a far-sighted view about, or for a good perspective about students, and she can gauge them very well. A very
Yeah,
good
that's it.
mentor, I can say, Nutan
Yeah,
ma'am.
definitely, definitely, definitely.
So, sir, you said that you always wanted to become a dentist, and you also gave those students over here who look for life at leisure too, a kind of a hint that dentistry is not a very taxing job as a surgeon's job is, because there are
Definitely.
no emergency calls. Now,
Perfect.
when I understand, sir, today, earlier there were different examination for BDS and MBBS. Now there is only one entrance. So after 10th
Yes.
standard, sir, please correct me if I say children who want to enter medical start their preparations from after 10th standard, that is 11th standard. So
Yeah.
the basic requirement is 11th and 12th, they have to study for their NEET preparations. That is
Yes.
your medical entrance test, which they give alongside their 12th standard exams.
Perfect.
Correct? And the
Yes.
minimum qualification that they require for HSC in 12th standard, the minimum marks, sorry, not qualification, but the percentage they require is 50 and above. So
Yes.
50% in HSC, and then they have to appear for this highly competitive test, that is
Yes.
the NEET
NEET
test.
exam. Yeah.
So after, sir, after doing NEET, suppose then how does a child decide that he wants to become a BDS or go into MBBS? So how would you suggest the children to make a decision? How would they make a decision about it?
To be very frank, before giving a NEET itself, you should be prepared that is your aim. Then only you can decide what rank you are looking for. During our time or still right now also, maximum people choose dentistry as a second option. When you don't get into the medicine, they come into the dentistry. Okay, the hierarchy goes as a MBBS, then BDS, then you have a homeopathic, Ayurvedic, then it goes your PT, physiotherapist, OT, and others. So this is like a usual hierarchy what people go for. I was getting MBBS also when I passed. Okay, when I gave my MSc, but as I said, I was very confirmed that I want to do a dentistry. So I opted out from, I didn't take the medical seat and I went for the BDS. So usually 90% of cases, people usually choose dentistry as a second option. But I will always say that if you're keen enough, then compete properly. Don't go for that. You compete properly. You may get the good colleges. Now during our time, we had a MSCET, Maharashtra CET, different. Every state had a different CET. And there was one centralized CET which had a limited seat. Now everything is under the center. So this year, I think on 12th of September, the NEET exam was, and totally 12 lakh students appear for the medical and the medical seats. And in India today, right now, if you talk about open category, majority, since we both come from the open category, I will more talk about open category, which I know the quota system have their extra advantages. But today, as of right now, MBBS seats in India is around 3.5 to 4,000, and goes with the BDS. So if you consider 14 lakh students appearing, only top 8,000 getting the seat, it's a quite competitive exams.
So that's a lot of competition out there. And sir, I will ask you one more funny question. They say dentist is a money minting job. You see,
I think all the jobs are
bankrupt.
money.
No, but they especially say a dentist is a money minting job, and a dentist never go bankrupt. So is that a truth?
I can say it was true maybe around 10 or 15 years back. When there were few of, you can say, dentists, and the market was quite open. Policy, there are a lot of private colleges sectors which has come up. Okay, the plus point is, because of the private sectors, there are a lot of seats increased, and people who had a little lesser rank can also pursue the and take the medical or the dental field. But the problem is with the private colleges coming up, the fee structure of the private colleges has gone very high.
It's exorbitant.
Yeah, it's exorbitant. And see, ultimately, किधर दिया है तो किधर निकालेंगे, something like that. If the parents is putting something like 20-30 lakhs just for the education of the student, the child will always think that I have to earn that back, right? So obviously they will charge accordingly, and the market has gone accordingly.
But पारस सर, आपने DY पाटिल से किया हुआ है, और
Yes.
मुझे अच्छे से याद है जब मैं आपका पोर्टफोलियो पढ़ रही थी तब आपने लिखा हुआ है कि मुझे मेरिट कोटा में मिला है, और जितना मैं जानती हूँ DY पाटिल का लैक्स फीस है अगर हम प्राइवेट कोटा में जाते हैं. तो you are as a an inspiration for all the students over here कि जरूरी नहीं है कि मेडिकल एक बहुत ज्यादा expensive study है.
Yeah. See,
Yes.
I can put it in a word. My and Umang's total BDS education, my BDS and Umang's MBBS, I think we have finished in 50,000 minus 50,000, under 50,000. Yeah, or maybe less than that. Yeah.
So I think you should just be hardworking and not cut your parents' pocket. I think then
Yeah,
you will be able
if
to
you are
achieve it.
perseverance, they can save for you, and then you can.
I think there is a network issue with Dr. Paras has left us, but he will soon be joining us. We will take the question up with Dr. Umang now, and we will again come back to Dr. Paras. So I again take this pleasure of inviting the second speaker. Yes, Dr. Paras is here. Dr. Umang, I think I will complete with him. Thank you, Dr. Paras. That was a quick joining back. So, Dr. Paras, you said that it's not a very expensive field, and we were talking on those lines. And people, if you are hardworking and if you have a zeal to do it, then you can achieve it. So, sir, can you also give these students, because आजकल के जो बच्चे हैं, they always calculate things in terms of money. So can you tell us what is the pay package of doctors? I'm talking from minimum to maximum in BDS.
See, it ranges quite a lot. To just put it to make it very clear.
No, sir, there is no IT department over here, so be assured this is not going out.
No. Yeah. No, I am telling about, as you said, that MBBS cannot be out of the job. But in case of dentistry, you can be out of job. Because in dentistry, you require there is a very small, very small quota in government jobs in dentistry. If you are a dentist, you can be into the government job in a very small sectors in certain colleges like Nair or GDC, where you require certain quota, and you have a very less placement in a government field in the primary healthcare sectors. That's the disadvantage of dentistry, that if you are a dentist, the only way you can earn more is to open your own private practice, and which cost you a good amount. Okay. Being a BDS, being a MBBS or any other medical, you have a lot of opportunity in terms of you have so many corporate and a big barrier hospitals where you can join as a RMOs or other faculty. If you are a specialist, you have a jobs. In the primary healthcare centers, in the government sectors, you have a number of jobs. Okay. But if you are looking for the dentistry, you don't have such kind of possibility. Okay. So if you think about being a dentist, then obviously it's not a way, I can say it's not, it's a costly job to start initial investment. When you put up a clinic, you require a certain amount of money to put in. The equipment of the dentistry cost you more. Okay. Yeah. But yes, as we and Umang has experienced, our studies goes up to the age of 30. That time we are totally on parents' money. It's like a flat line. We are burning out the parents' money. But as soon as you start opening your own clinic, it's exponential. It's a very rewarding. It depends upon which area which metro city, which kind of job you are in. You know, the new pass fresher sometimes earn less than a compounder. That's the bad scenario of the Indian system. But yes, if you are new pass dentist, you may start earning from maybe as low as 10,000 or maybe a 7,000 when you start assisting a senior doctor. But slowly, if you start opening your own clinic, I think you are as good as any techie of your age. Okay. Right now, I can say I will not give you a number, but I can always give you a comparison zone. What as a dentist people earn is as good as the same experience techie in a IT sector. It's just that we are our own bosses. We don't have to answer anybody else. I can put my shutter down and go for a holiday. I don't have to report somebody. I don't have my biometrics, something like that. And still I am a white collar job.
That's
So
amazing.
that is the advantage I can put it. And you can have your own life in your own terms. Definitely saying so, we have a lot of responsibility towards our patients. So you cannot be out of the job for a very long period of time. If I take a 2 days leave, I have almost 20-30 phone calls in my missed call area. So yeah, it is a rewarding. You won't go hungry for sure. You won't be starving for sure. You will have a relaxed life. You will have a noble life. You can say at the certain age you will be able to buy a 2 BHK flat in Bombay.
So that all depends upon the way you are performing, sir, and
Yes,
definitely that
See,
again.
yeah.
Yes.
It depends upon your lifestyle ultimately. The maximum problem what we see, everybody wants to settle in a metro city. Nobody wants to go into tier 2 or tier 3 city. I think the life is more relaxing there, but say maybe our roots are here. My father's clinic was here. I am born and brought up in Bombay. You know, yahi जीना यहाँ मरना यहाँ जैसा है. So I cannot leave Bombay. So I am stuck with Bombay.
So Mumbai Meri Jaan, we can say that.
Yeah.
Sir,
नहीं भी गाली दे दो यही रहना है वैसे.
Sir, मुझे ये बताइए कि after doing my NEET exam, I have finished my 11-12, given my 12th exam, got 50%. I appeared for my NEET entrance exam, and now I decide to take BDS. तो कितने साल लगते हैं मुझे BDS complete करने में?
So BDS is a course of 4 years, and then 1 year of internship. So it totally takes 5 years to complete your BDS. Then again you have a competitive exam if you want to do masters. So again you apply, again you go for all India exams. Okay. Then again, if you get a good rank, you go into the MDS, masters. Okay.
So that you have a BDS, which is Bachelor's of Dentistry, Dental Surgeon, and you have the MDS, which is Master's
of Dentistry. So you appear for the 2 competitive exams, all India level. So if you crack both of them, then yeah, definitely you get. And MDS also, you have a similar hierarchy. You have a merit list.
You also have a few specialty in dentistry code, right? So what are those specialties? Like cosmetic dentals and all those. So how do we go about that?
See, there are ultimately 8 specialty. Cosmetic dentist, I will say any dentist who has a hang of doing a good artistic work, you can say, call themselves as a cosmetic dentist. But if you say per se, there is no such degree or a degree course for the cosmetic dentistry. It's a part of your dental curriculum. Okay. In dentistry, you have almost 8 specialty branches. The most commonly known is a braces specialist. Like everybody knows that there is some doctors called as a braces specialist. They are called as an orthodontist. Okay, that's the most commonly known branch, and I think people know only one branch, which is as a specialty in dentistry. But you have different branches. Like I am a root canal specialist. Okay. So I deal with a complicated root canals and certain part of the restorative dentistry and the My wife is a gum specialist. She is a periodontist and the implantologist. Then there is a prosthodontist who deals with more of the denture prosthesis. So many times we come into the picture when you have a head and face trauma and you have to replace one of the face part or something. So then the prosthesis come. And then there are certain non-clinical branches like dental radiology is different, dental pathology is different, dental anatomy kind of is different. So there are 8 branches after that.
Thank you so much, sir. And I will take the names of the 8 branches and we definitely share it with all our students because trust me, I have not heard of more than 2. So this is like Greek and Latin for me. I have learned so much from you. If you take a close look, my dear friends, at the alchemy of this successful person, Dr. Paras Kothari, we see 2 distinctive features here. One is hard work and the second is perseverance. The pioneering spirit and willingness to serve the society is what we require in future generations, which one must definitely learn from Dr. Paras Kothari. Not only does he have a very impressive background, but today, after listening to him, we understand what ASPI Group of Schools stands for, an epitome of success and for all its alumni who have made a stand in the society. Dr. Kothari, I thank you. I really thank you from my heart for giving us so much of information in BDS and MDS field. And I request you to stay back for the last round of questions and answers. Thank you.
Definitely. I'm there.
It is now my pleasure to welcome a charming, dashing personality here. I have been told by his teachers that he was a very naughty student. All right. With immense pleasure, I am indeed very honored to introduce in the order of schedule, the second speaker for Ed Talks, episode 1, Dr. Umang Kothari. Our speaker is a versatile personality who proudly introduces himself as an alumnus of ASPI Nutan Vidya Mandir, the Gujarati medium. He passed his SSC in 2002, after which he strived hard and completed his medical schooling from one of the best medical schools, that is the JJ School, Sir JJ Medical and Research Hospital, Mumbai. His journey further continued as he pursued his master's in general surgery in 2030 from Baroda Medical College. Dr. Umang Kothari has always been a very keen learner. Hence, despite of being engaged with his commitments at the Wadia Hospital and Jaslok Hospital for a considerable amount of time, he decided to upgrade his professional skills and trailed his dream by completing his degree in super specialty of plastic surgery from the Medanta Institute at Gurgaon. Ever since then, Dr. Umang Kothari has been practicing as a private practitioner and a consulting plastic surgeon. He is a co-founder and director of the Hair and Shape Clinic at Mumbai. His keen interests and key interests are body contouring, hair loss management, and gender reassignment surgeries. He successfully attached to some of the premium hospitals in Bombay, like Cloud9, Namaha Hospital, Tunga Hospital, Vivanta Hospital, and Reliance Hospital. Today, we are honored to have Dr. Umang Kothari as a speaker on our first episode of Anna Ed Talks. Dear sir, without taking much of your time, I leave this platform to you, and I request you to introduce us, to rather brief us about your beautiful journey from school to where you stand today. Tell us about your glorious path, sir.
Thank you, madam. Thank you for the wonderful introduction. Thank you, Paras, for taking the stage before me. And this is kind of a nightmare for me because the school people and Paras together watching me on live this thing. So as you have my introduction that I was never kind of a very brilliant student into my school. I always used to get scolded by n number of teachers. I used to get beaten up by n number of teachers. And but of course, I always used to look upon Paras as a kind of a great figure in front of me. I never topped any of my classes. My journey was very much non-determined, I would say, but that's a kind of a good combination that Paras always being focused. I was always being open to all kind of personality. In that, After completing my school, of course, I was fearful, and I remember the days where I passed my SSC. Paras passed his 12th, and I was terrified. I was like, if Paras has so much of struggle, then definitely I am nowhere in this field. And my all the school friends were going into the commerce, and I had some 86 percentage in SSC, and I got an admission into Mitibai PCB. I went to SVKM office and I pleaded them, kindly shift my admission from science to commerce. I think I can't do this. I think I'm just not meant to do this. And my dad just called me up, just relax, just go for it. I think you can do it. I have a trust in you. And that's how it all started happening. So what I believe that in school, there are so many subjects which, and it's very much, you don't have so much of knowledge about what is your like, what is your dislikes. I was never good at mugging up, so I could not do well into geography or history. I could not do well into my languages either. But I was good at I was good at maths and biology or science. That helped me really in a great manner. Of course, I had my fear of coming from vernacular medium and going into the full-fledged preparation for 11th, 12th. So I joined Jatania classes, which is there in Kandivali, because I was afraid of transition, of how I will transit or get transitioned. But it was really good. And as people say कि जब पीछे बम्बू पड़ता है तो वो करना ही करना है, that kind of thing happened with me, that if I don't do it, I have no chance. So I pursued, and luckily in 11th, 12th, I started scoring some good amount of scores, even in Mithibai. So that gave me some good push again. In 12th, that's in 2004, I passed from Mithibai College, and then we have a common entrance test. At my time and Paras time, we had a state entrance college examination and an all India examination. I did well in my state examination. But even that preparation, I still remember, we are still some close friends still in contact. We used to mug up, we used to discuss all the MCQs while traveling from Malad to Ville Parle, the private classes. It was a hardcore. I mean, you cannot just leave that I'm going to the classes and that's the only time when I'm going to study. Every breath you're going to think of MCQs. Every breath you're going to kind of discuss the MCQs or kind of permutation combinations of how the questions can be asked to you. That is very much important. After securing my meritorial rank, and I went to JJ, and of course, then also I was afraid. I was panicky. I may not stand into all this. So I again started reading and kind of putting my all efforts into the education. And luckily, I could secure the a first rank into first MBBS into JJ School of Hospitals. That gave me finally a kind of breathing space. Okay, I can do this, or I can achieve this. Now, to summarize all this, why I'm telling you this, that you may not be the great student into your schools, you may not be into the topper into your school, but if you have that thing that I want to prove myself, or I can do it with all the odd circumstances, maybe you can achieve that. I have achieved that, so maybe you can also, because I was amongst the average students. I was notorious. I was more into the dancing and all those stuffs. I was never into the books, but luckily it happened with me that I could achieve that. But that's even the Paras journey says that dedication, devotion, and determination, which I believe that if you have these three, then you can achieve what you want to. So then there's a 4.5 years of MBBS, and 1 year, 4.5 years, yeah, of MBBS, and then 1 year of internship. And talking about internship, we used to get around 1,700 rupees as an intern. And as Paras mentioned, the sweeper of the hospitals used to get more than us, and then we used to work a lot more than that. But that's how the journey started. That's how the first salary slip we had was 1,700 rupees per month. And of course, then the strikes and the increase in the demand, and then the 2,400 something like that, they've increased by some 50% more. So that was my first salary at 2010, I would say. during that, even the MBBS, if you have a goal, so during MBBS, you try to kind of analyze or try to kind of bifurcate your thinking process. Those who think a lot, those who have an analytical mind, they go mainly for the as a consultant, as a physician. That's my observation. Those who are very risk taking, or those who are very much they don't believe in reasoning
Diagnostic
so
abilities, I would say, yes.
yeah, they don't believe in reasoning so much. Likewise, I always used to wonder in my MBBS ki, I know it may sound weird, but if you are giving this drug, how is going to happen in the body? I don't know. Why should I believe in this drug? Rather, if there's a surgical thing, just cut it open, remove the pathology, and solve the issue. I mean, most of the surgeons are of that mentality. So, during my second MBBS, I decided that I'll become a surgeon for sure. That was crystal clear that I'll be a surgeon. I can't do a consulting job. So that's the main bifurcation after MBBS. So that's 4.5 years of study, 1 year of internship. During the internship, of course, all the students, they study a lot for, again, a competitive exam. I could not do well into my Maharashtra exam then, but I did well into All India exam then, and I got the surgery branch which I always wanted in Baroda itself. And that was again a kind of a good part because I and Paras both were in Baroda doing our masters. And after that we came back. I pursued my education into Vadia for some time. Then just look, I worked for there, and then I went to Medanta because after general surgery is also 3 years course. So 4.5 years of education, 1 year of internship. Then if you can get into the admission, then another 3 years for masters in general surgery. Then another 3 years for your super specialization branch. So there are 3 entrance exams: post 12th, post MBBS, post MS. That's post surgery. For a consultant, after an MBBS, there's something called MD. MD in medicine, MD in chest physician, MD in radiology. So even that is not a dead branch. After doing 3 years of MD, there's another 3 years for DM. DM in neurology, DM in endocrinology, DM in nephrology. That means every organ specific branch. Likewise, a heart will have a cardiologist and a cardiac surgeon. A cardiologist is a DM into the managing the heart pathology by medicines, while a cardiac surgeon is a super specialized surgeon who manages the cardiac pathology by surgical stuff. That's how it goes. Like a neurology is a brain doctor giving the medical treatment for the brain pathology, but a neurosurgeon is a specialized doctor who gives the surgical facilities for the brain pathology. That's how the bifurcation goes. So then I always wanted to become a plastic surgeon through my MS days because I went into a pediatric surgery course in between, but I always wanted to become a plastic surgeon. And that's a misnomer that I don't deal only with beauty. I don't deal only with good looks, and I don't deal only with how people look in the society. But the plastic means to cover any body defect by using the soft tissue or skin tissues, basically. And that's a broad spectrum. There's a very, very broad spectrum. Per se, in my branch, there's cleft lip, cleft palate patients, or a pediatric plastic surgery patients in which there's joint fingers are there, the urine streams are not normal, the hoot and the palate are been kind of ruptured or kind of not formed well. These are the pediatric plastic surgeons which we take care of. Then there is a burns patient, of course, the acute burns and the kind of late burns with the kind of contractures of a neck or a hand. We treat them and give them the good acceptance or in the society, or try to rehabilitate them vocationally. At the same time, these are trauma cases, facial trauma, hand trauma. We do reimplantation of a totally cut finger or totally cut hand. We rejoined it. Latestly in a global hospital, there was a hand transplant operation which went very well by my seniors, in which they took up the donor hands and reimplanted into the one who had never, who were amputee. So these are the plastic surgery job. And even after the cancer surgery, there's a kind of a big hollow in the mouth, which we fill with the using of soft tissue. along with that, we do with how we are looking, the hair transplant, the liposuction, and many more other things, So yeah, that is my journey. So I would, again, to summarize, after 10th, 2 years of 12th, of course, after 2 years of 12th, if you are getting into the system directly, then 4.5 years of MBBS, 1 year of internship. If you're getting into the higher system easily, then 3 years of masters. And if you're getting into the super specialty system easily, then another 3 years. So that's kind of 10.5 years of education, 1 year of internship in between. Even in my MS days, I used to get paid around 17,000 rupees to work maybe three nights. Like the kind of work we used to do, we never used to get sleep for 2 to 3 days consecutively. Paras used to come as Paras rightly mentioned, it is a white collar job and kind of a very neat and clean job. I remember those days where I used to be stained with blood and saliva and vomit, whatnot. And he used to like, you're stinking. Why are you working like this? I'm like, what? This is my job. I do this stuff. So this is how it is. Yeah, it's a taxing job, but I love my life. I really love my life.
It sounds so enterprising and exciting being a surgeon, and you have completely washed off the myth that we people carry about a plastic surgeon who's only doing a liposuction or maybe enhancement of your
No.
face. But you have actually thrown light to the fact that treating those children who may be born with defected lips, when we may be born with some kind of deformity which is making it difficult for them to even survive. So you
Yeah.
cater to those kind of things as well, especially burn cases. I mean,
Yeah.
people who must be coming to you as the burn cases that you may be dealing with. I mean, it really makes me feel so nervous talking about it. To even think about it is so scary. Then, of course, the kind of trauma that you guys go through. So, hats off,
So
sir.
we are being desensitized by very early years. Yeah,
Achha.
it's not like that you, again, another misnomer that people think you have to be very strong hearted to go into the dentist to go into the medical field. It is not like that. Everything is, you can adapt to situation. I mean,
Dr. Umang, you are such a humble soul. I mean, from the very beginning, you have started with giving my children the motivation that it's okay to get an 80%. There
it's
is no
perfectly
big
fine.
deal.
It is perfectly fine. It's
It's
perfectly fine.
perfectly fine,
You have
because
a
I am
you have
such,
example. Yes.
I am so sorry, but we always felt the nerds in the class who always were like the smart cookies could only become doctors. So
No.
this was a kind of a notion which you have washed out. You were
No.
dancing and you were playing pranks in the school,
Yeah.
and you were keen on taking commerce. And then something dawned upon you, a realization, and you decided, no, this is not my call. Let me pursue. And despite of you being so dwindling and so dicey with the thought of becoming a doctor, yet today you are an established person, an established name, serving almost 6 key hospitals in and around the city. That's a great
The
achievement.
one thing which I would like to talk about is
Yes, sir. Yes.
to keep an aim. If you don't have an aim, then it doesn't matter. I mean then you are just wandering into the jungle. You have to put an aim, and then I think subconsciously or kind of from the universe you get that energy to walk towards that aim. But you have to fix up an aim. My aim was to prove myself till the day my first MBBS result came. I was on the gas because somehow subconsciously, I won't say that I was working towards it, but subconsciously that aim was pinching me, that I want to prove myself, maybe then the other things never mattered so much to my soul. And once I achieved that, but till that time I have walked a long path, and then it was autonomously, I mean it was on a kind of a autopilot mode. So till that time, you have to put a name. That's it. I have seen so many other doctors, even after becoming MBBS doctors, they just lose their path. They feel, "Okay, where I have come, this is not what I wanted to do in my life." Even after becoming general surgeons, people are depressed. And nowadays, depression is so common into medical fraternity. We get exhausted. We get, and again, it's a kind of different chat altogether with what Paras said. The doctor-patient line has become so thinned out. so thinned out. If my patient treats me as a doctor, I treat him as a patient. But if he treats me as a service provider, I treat him as a consumer. That's it. I can't treat him like a patient, otherwise I get exhausted. I can't please him with my doctorate knowledge. And
that, Umang sir, comes from Google Baba, no? All of us are medical experts because of Google Baba, I would say.
Yeah. And as Paras rightly said, that once you are a doctor, there's a public health factor, there's a corporate health sectors, and then there's a kind of a freelancers or a nursing home sectors. Unfortunately, in dentistry, there is only a public health sector, it's a government hospital which can offer them a job. The nursing home sectors and the corporate sectors do not offer them a good amount of jobs. So they all are competing with each other. Now, in every lane you see 5 or 6 dentists just besides them, kind of thing. In at least MBBS, we have a nursing home sector and a corporate sector open for us to give us job. Again, if you want to go and leave India, it's again many doctors are doing that as well. So these are the kind of options after post MBBS. Either you work as a doctor, you work as a corporate as a resident medical officer, you pursue your higher education, or you leave the country and pursue your education in another country.
So talking about another country, can you throw light? Like, I'll just recapitulate. You know, I'm a typical teacher. तो वो पूरा पढ़ाने के बाद summary वापस करते हैं तो I'll just summarize.
I'm scared of teachers. I'm scared of my brothers and my teachers.
We are good teachers, sir. We are good teachers. Don't be scared of us.
This is taking back 18 years and kind of making me sit in front of teachers and brother. I'm scared of those days.
This kind of value, sir, that you have, the respect that you were saying that I'm so scared sitting in front of my teachers, sitting in front of my brother, this shows the kind of upbringing that you have had. Somewhere values are at stake today, but I'm so honored that you are saying and you're giving us this respect that you still feel a little jittery sitting in front of us, but we are not scary teachers. So tell us more about today, children, when they find it difficult, because they are not very focused, you can say. Some of them are not focused and they find it difficult, so they want to find an easy way out. So when they don't get through NEET examination, they might end up in a foreign university abroad. So, sir, how do we go to a foreign university for doctorate? What is the entrance there? And after doing a doctorate from a foreign university, let's say from Ukraine, Russia, Moscow, or any other university, can you come back to India and continue with your practice? Or
yes,
is there a test that is required? Sir, over to you.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. So, again, I think we have come to this point that there are no judgments over here. I think there are many. The luck plays a lot of role into getting into it. When you are comparing a kind of a 10 lakhs to 14,000 seats, luck is a very major factor. And if getting or not getting a rank into CET doesn't define whether you are a good student or a bad student. I have seen so many good students cannot do good because that 3 hours cannot say how good or bad person or a doctor you are going to be. So just offload your stuff, offload your soul with this kind of pressure that you have to prove yourself. Just go easy whenever you're going into any competitive exams. Use your mind, play it very kind of very casually. Of course,
so Dr. Umang, I'm sorry I'm interrupting, but can you please repeat it loud and clear for all the children over here that NEET, if you don't pass NEET, it's okay. It's not the end of the world.
It is not end of the world. It is not. It is not. I have in my close circles, there are so many of my friends, those who waited for 2-3 years and then they excelled into the branch they wanted to. It is always to keep your aim. I mean, in my very dear friend, I could complete my education, my plastic surgery by 30 years, but that comes from the personality as well. I was never a personality who wanted to get stopped somewhere. So I kind of found my ways to pursue my education, and then I ended it. While there are personalities who will say, if I'm not getting into this branch or this college, I will not take any other branch, or I will repeat myself. That also comes from the personality to personality, which a parent should understand that how your kid is having a personality, rather than posting him or pushing her that no, this year only you are supposed to get into it, otherwise we have this or that. social pressures.
Dr. Umang, when you say this year only, that means stand me corrected. Please, do I stand corrected right when I say you can pass out or appear for your NEET examination in any age between 17 to 25? Am I right, sir?
At least in my time, yes. I don't know the latest time, but in
Yes,
my
it is.
time, yes.
Did
My
my
time,
R&D,
yes.
yes.
You can take a drop. You can go back again. You can go back again. You can go back again.
And sir, when does
So,
in foreign universities, so then what is the procedure?
So I was coming to that because I know there are time constraints. So I was coming to that once that CET exam is over, whether you get a rank, you don't get a rank, then there are some pathways which you can take a kind of, I would say, kind of a longer path or a shorter path. But there are ways in which you can pursue your dream. You can go to your dream. This is a mainstream highway in which you go from 12 to CET, achieve MBBS. If you're not getting into this, you can go to Philippines, Mauritius, Ukraine, Russia, China. Of course, they have there. You are supposed to learn their own language. There are some classes we are going to make you learn their own language. But over there also, there are so many Indian students are there as your seniors, as your colleague, that 4.5 years becomes very easy. You come back again, and then there is a exam by MCI, Medical Council of India, which is now is going to be the name has been changed. But that one exam, license exam, they have to pass. Once they pass that exam, they can practice over here as MBBS, definitely.
Sir, I have seen children their minds boggle when they study for NEET. They completely cut themselves from the social world. They go through panic attacks and they really suffer. It's like 2 years is of a rigorous punishment, as in they are suffering in a jail or so. So this is a big time message for those children and I have known parents, sir, who are so supportive, whether it is a girl or a boy, it doesn't matter. But they take a very good decision that I'm going to stand by my child, and these grades do not matter. It doesn't matter whether my child has passed NEET or not. If he or she wants to become a doctor, then there are other mediums. So I think we need to keep our minds open as parents. And if it's not possible to be in India, we can always try in a university abroad. And I am also, as a parent, I always feel that we should never let our children's dreams, go dead.
I think it's a very thin line. I think it's a very thin line in which you are supposed to work towards achieving something and not getting carried away by just achieving that thing in your life. It's a very thin line, not only needing the need, even in your like normal routine life. So that student and parents need to understand that in between zone you're supposed to maintain, and if you're in that zone, definitely you're going to get what you want.
Sir, what are the most promising and medical streams for the future? If you can talk about a few which are in demand, like for example, robotic surgeon. So something like that, if you could throw a light on some.
You are asking me?
Yes, Dr.
Okay.
Umang. Yes.
So robotic again is kind of a very, I would say, an umbrella term, right? Likewise, a neurosurgeon, the one who is operating on the kidney, can become a robotic surgeon.
Okay.
A surgeon who is operating on the liver or intestine can become a robotic surgeon. The robot is just kind of a medium. A surgeon can use a robot into his or her specialized branch.
All right.
I would say over the period of time, the plastic surgery is going to become a more lucrative branch for sure, because people are now more aware about how they look. People are now aware more about how they are portrayed in the society. At the same time, it has a lot to do with the economy of a country. We used to be a developing country. Now we are in transition from becoming developing to becoming a developed country from developing. So we have lots of economical change. Youngsters have money to spend on themselves. They don't have the liability of giving the money to the families. So they have the money. They are working in the MNCs. They are into the social media generation. So they want to spend on themselves. It is very much important to diagnose some psychiatric issues and do not give everything to the patient and allow them to have a realistic expectations. By saying all this, the plastic surgery, yes, it's going to be a good branch in future. The cardiac surgery may not be so good branch, because the cardiologist, the angioplasty, angiography has taken a good amount of work from the surgical branch to the conservative branch. The skin disease is also the dermatology or skin disease. The radiology, again, is a very good branch in which you can happily sit in any AC cabin and kind of report CT scan, MRI, and do ultrasonography or X-rays. That's a kind of, again, a kind of, but it's a very competitive branch to get into this. As Paras mentioned, after MBBS, there are some medical or clinical and non-clinical branch also, like a pathology, radiology. These are a non-clinical branch. Microbiology, in which it's a basic science subject, but you are always going to be working under the corporates or in a government sector, doing a kind of a groundwork, I would say. In a microbiologist will check for the contamination in the operation theater, contamination into the hospital scenarios and all those stuff. So these are non-competitive. No, people are not willing to go into this branch, but these are again a very good branches if you say as a lifestyle thing. In a competitive branch or a clinical branch is a physicians like MD medicine, MD chest physician, and on a surgical branch is a ophthalmology, is an eye doctor, ENT surgeon, general surgeon, orthopedic surgeon. This is how the bifurcation goes. I would say every branch is going to be kind of needed in future for sure.
Thank you so much, Dr. Umang, for that question.
It's difficult for me to concise everything. I mean, it's so much comes in my mind.
Understand. I absolutely understand. You have done a good job, extremely excellent job actually. You said oncologist, you said dermatologist, emergency medicine, gastroenterologist, epidemiologist, and ophthalmologist. And of course, you also threw light on the fact that all my students can anytime come to you if they need guidance on becoming a plastic surgeon.
Anytime. Not only plastic surgeon, for any guidance.
Thank you so much, sir. That is really nice. And Dr. Paras, can I ask a question to you, sir?
Yeah.
So, medical course, children now, if they are not wanting to become a doctor, or suppose they don't get into medicine, MBBS and BDS by passing NEET and they fail in NEET. So, are there any other medical courses without NEET that they can take up, sir?
See, if you don't do well in NEET, so in NEET exam, it's not only MBBS and BDS. You have homeopathic, Ayurvedic, other, and now the bridge courses are very much in line in India, where homeopathic and Ayurvedics also can take up the course later part in once they finish BMA and BHMS and become a practicing allopathic profession. Saying so, you see so many physiotherapy centers around you, which is now need for R. You see a lot of people going through a lot of stress related problems, which leads to your backache, shoulder ache. Our senior, lifestyle has become such that you require a physiotherapist, and you have a lot of physiotherapist courses. Like it's a proper 4 years course of the physiotherapist, and they also have a master's. Saying so, now you have a lot of like as a new branch, you have a lot of pets in India now. Like every 5th or 6th house in Bombay have a pet. So you have a veterinary doctors also. Right now, India has a very less amount of veterinary hospitals and doctors. And it's a new age scenario that the people may not travel for your child to the next suburb, but they will travel for the dog to from Malad to maybe Parel, because the Parel is the best hospital. So now that's the scenario, and the way the nuclear families and the single child concept is going on, maximum houses have a one or more pet. And
yes, I am one of them, sir. I am one of them. So I'm all the time smiling.
Yeah. So good veterinary surgeons or veterinary doctors is again a very good branch. Saying so, if you don't do good in NEET, as Umang mentioned, you can always repeat it, keeping in the mind that the years don't matter when you go on the top. Like I have practiced 2 years after my BDS. I took a break of 2 years, understand myself that which branch I want to go into for my masters, And then I took root canal specialty MDS as my master, because once you do your masters, there is no U-turn, right? You can't in this field you can't have a U-turn again and again and they say कि मैं ये भी कर लूँगा वो भी कर लूँगा. It's one exam, and once you are passed through it, you know how difficult it is, and then you don't want to get into it. That you can't have a MS and MD together. You only have either MS or MD, right? So
Yes.
so you can repeat the NEET, but if you go into the normal branch, you have a BSc, then you can do MSc. MSc also you can take a microbiology and you can go into the pathology as an assistant, or you can have a pathology lab of your own course. You can go into the psychology branch and you can do MSc psychology, and you have a full-fledged psychologist working after MS. Okay, and you have other research branches after BSc, which you can go into. Like you have a dairy products, BSc into the dairy products, and you can enter into the any business of the dairy. Also, you have a very good branch as a pharmaceuticals. You can be a B.Pharm, M.Pharm, and go into the pharmaceutical companies, be a maybe a representative, or you can go into research. You have a good maybe a future in abroad also if you have a good branch. So BSc like NEET is not the end, or you can say doctor being a MBBS is not only the aim.
Correct.
If you are looking for a medicine, you should be open. As I said, you should be open to know your limitation, okay, as a student, and then you can take the branch which is you like. Means you should have a plan B also. See, as I said, when I passed and I went into the Sathe,
I think Dr. Umang has an operation at 12:15.
That's okay, but
Yeah. So
no, I wanted to add something basically. I wanted to
Yes,
add
sir.
even biomedical is a very good branch because we are dependent upon so much of new
Yeah.
instrumentations. Like if Paras has a microscope, then to maintain that microscope and to kind of keep upgrading those microscopes is a very big branch. If we have
So
a robo,
bioengineering and biomedicine,
That's
bioengineering also is there in biomedicine, which now biomedicine is more of like a genetics on. So you you have a lot of nowadays the stem cells.
Stem
The
cells,
next thing is the stem cell approach. So the stem cell is like the bioengineering and biomedicine. So that is again a very upcoming
cyber
branch.
forensics, sir. What is cyber forensics? I have heard of that also. With the CID and all, my children keep talking about forensic.
So you have a forensic in medicine also, as well as in dentistry also.
Yeah, that I
So
wanted.
forensic, they take obviously the forensic part comes in the, like they have a basic MBBS and then it goes into the higher education in the forensic. BDS also you require normal BDS, and then you like now you have a certificate course into go into the forensic, you can say dentistry. So you take the records of the criminals, you can say, and otherwise you have a crime scene, something like if you have bite marks, they check the bite marks, patient's history on that. You can go on the what will the age range of the patient, all that. So it goes from that documentation to crack the you can say crack the case and go into the main culprit, and then you have the evidence base and all. So this is the branch, and now you have some branches called as a public health, where you collect the data for certain company or the government, and you give it to
Research
government. Like, so you do your BDS, and then you go into the public health, masters, and then you collect the data, like how you have right now pandemic going on. So there is a zero surveillance. So they go to the clinic to clinic or houses to houses, collect your blood samples, and then they come. Now India or Bombay has 85% of antibodies, right? So those job comes to the public health sector, where they collect the data, analyze the data, break down the data, so you have a lot of branches besides dentistry as a science, science stream also, So if you take a science, it's not only when you enter into science, it's not only the doctor. You have a multiple bifurcations in science streams.
Absolutely. That's
so
so
it doesn't
encouraging,
matter.
Paras, that's absolutely encouraging for those children. NEET is not the ultimate goal. If you could
Yes.
not clear NEET, you still can
Yeah.
work as a medicinal practitioner in
Yeah.
some other field. And I request Dr. Umang also to throw some light into this.
So I would go a little bit in past where you asked Paras about the how much money or how much economically stable we are. So
Right.
again, to have an education and to have some degrees has nothing to do with how much you can earn. We have some MBBS doctors, we have some BDS doctors earning more than a plastic surgeon. We have some plastic surgeons doing very mediocre job and doing their stuff. We have businessmen coming into the medical field, setting up the whole setup, and the doctors are answerable to businessmen. So even if suppose my some cousin brother has a lots of money and wants to come into the healthcare system, nowadays it's very easy. So to have that feeling of giving back to the society or doing something good, the NEET is not the only way. There are lots of things which people can pursue and then come back to the society. So that there are many ways of doing it and coming back to the society. So
That's so true. That's so true. And
It is-
I'd like to say something. So one of our teachers is such an example for all of us. I mean, she has two girls and she sent both of them abroad. And one of them, she couldn't score so well in NEET, but she did not lose hope. She promoted her child that she goes to a foreign university and she pursues a dream. That is what we as parents must do. And
Yeah,
as
definitely.
Dr. Umang said and Dr. Paras added, some of the courses that you can take up after NEET could be biotechnologist, forensic science, biomedical engineering, microbiologist, BSc anesthesia, cytogeneticist, medical chemistry, BSc in occupational therapy, that is quite in demand, I believe, BSc in paramedical technology, and many, many more. So thank you so much for adding value.
last.
Sure.
I believe in EQ now. I don't believe in IQ
Okay.
anymore. I believe in emotional quotients.
Emotional
because-
quotients.
That's right. You, to the students and parents, you have to find the joy in whatever things you are doing. I can easily say that if there are certain days of my life when I'm so much stressed out, I can't enjoy my family life. I can't enjoy with my daughter. I can't. There are months like that. And if I see Paras, he's traveling, he's enjoying his life. Of course, he has his own stress factor. I'm not comparing anything, but the thing is that even after becoming plastic surgeon, if I'm not able to enjoy my life, and then there's no fun in doing that. There's no fun. So EQ is very important. Whatever you do, even a good, happy occupational therapist is equally satisfied as compared to a well-known cardiac surgeon. So, or maybe more than that, I don't know. So that is very important because I have seen burnouts in surgeons. I have seen people are getting exhausted and getting paranoid. Why I enter into this branch, and then it's too late. You can't go back 16 years of your life. And as Paras said, there's no U-turn. But if you enjoy the path, it's a very beautiful path. It's a very beautiful path.
It's
That's-
strenuous, it's difficult, it's tedious, but I think the end result is what
Enjoyable.
Yeah,
It's enjoyable.
and road to
So I
success
will,
is
yeah.
never laid down with the pyre of roses and myrtle. It is always a road with lots of ups and downs and bumps, right? Paras,
Yeah.
you want to add something to this?
Yeah. I always like want to see the parents that at the maybe age of 9th and 10th, the students are very raw. They may not know exactly what they want. Don't pressurize them. If NEET is not the thing, it's okay. Like as I said, as Umang mentioned, just say it's okay, dear. Let's do it some other way.
I think most of the times it's
uh,
parental dreams that they push on the
Yeah.
bachus.
Yeah.
You have to become
I
like this,
think-
and that's a disaster.
I think the parents should see the new Netflix series like Kota Factory and all, and they should understand that students are not the machine. It's a too much pressure at the age of when
This
the
that you are
child is at
talking
least.
about, Dr. Paras, as you started talking about, do not put pressure, Kota Factory, all the children started turning on their cameras and smiling.
Yeah,
Even
something
we
like that. Because
Netflix,
see,
even we
yeah,
Netflix.
see what happens, I think somewhere once you pass those competitive exam, you can correlate to those things more betterly because as I said, as Umang also mentioned, the it is a competitive exam at the end. There is nothing hiding into it. We used to study 12 hours a day or maybe sometimes 16 hours a day. Between our two classes, we used to sit on the station and read our books. We have days where we survive just on a vada pav or maybe just but at the end, if it's a pressure, if you enjoy that pressure, it's good. If it is kind of burden on you and you are not the kind of student who can take it, then reach out for the help to your parents, and parents should also observe that my child is not some who is made for the medicine, you know and
Yeah,
student
yeah.
also should openly say that, dad, I can't do it, or mom, please, this
That's
is not
very
my field.
correct. I think, as Dr.
Yeah.
Umang said, Dr. Paris, emotional quotient. A person
Yes.
has to be very stabilized. Today, we are all into pressure and stress and depression and boredom. These words did not exist a few years back. People who were more hardworking, I can say, they could handle pressure. But these children are very soft clays. We will have to be extremely sensitive while handling them, and we'll have to
Yeah.
teach them to learn to say no. I can't do it, and it's fine to cry, and it's fine to say that it's okay. I can't do it any
Yeah.
further.
Yeah.
So, I will ask students now to ask questions to Dr. Umang first, so that yes, he has an operation which Dr. Paras had already warned me about. So, not to exceed time, children, you can raise your virtual hands, and I will then allow you to ask questions. Yes, please raise your virtual hands. Yes, any child who wishes to ask a question, please. Yes, Arya Patel. Turn on your camera, beta, and ask a question.
Good afternoon, principal, ma'am, teachers, and respected dignitaries. My question for today is, how do I know medical is my interest? Do I have to score high in biology?
Hi Arya, thank you for the question. I don't think that you have to score high in biology for to become a doctor. To find out your own interest, that's very much it's going to come from within you. I mean, I can't say how you're going to find that, but whether you enjoy that subject or not, that's the whole idea. If you are just taking a high or scoring a high marks just by mugging up the subject and coming under the pressure of the parents, then maybe it's not a branch for you. But even if you close your eyes, you get dreams of biology, you get dreams of why and this and what and analysis, and not only mugging but trying to read more about it. I think that's the interest, and then you definitely have to go for biology.
That's
Then
so
you
well
will.
answered, and my
But if
bio
you
teacher
yeah
was grinning.
yeah but if you
Yes, sir.
ultimately, if you are into the competitive exam, your bio has to be very strong. Whenever there is a tiebreaker, the biology mark is one which decide who score more. Like if there will be 100 people on the same scoring, so who is first and who is 100 depends upon your bio. Bio is always a tiebreaker. So if you are into the medicine, then bio has to be the strongest subject always, because that's the highest mark which is in the competitive exam, and it has to be your tiebreaker. But as Umang said, if you can dream about it, I will suggest like a field work. Somebody should just go into the hospital and just smell the formalin. If you can smell the formalin and if you can stand by it and see the blood and the pus, I think then there are people who faint on the first day of
Even
the
I have fainted.
medicine.
Even I have
Yeah,
fainted. My
yeah,
dad was the person who
yeah.
was like, "You are getting an MBBS. Come to my
Like the
clinic,"
like the
and
first day
I
of
fainted.
for first day of medicine, if you see a dead body, and you have to be grounded, you can't be very soft hearted also and wants to be a medicine, because ultimately you will see blood, you will see dead bodies, you will be writing the death certificate, somebody will be crying on you, and in today's scenario some relative might be bashing you. You should be you should be ready to take it all.
So that reminds me of an example. When I was in Baroda, there were 3 seats for during my course that was in my unit. So I and my colleague, there was a third seat which was taken up by a guy, and then he left the general surgical seat because he was like, I can't see blood. He got into general surgery program and then he left it. And the second year he got into radiology, and then he happily pursued radiology for the rest of his life. So again, I mean, there are mistakes happen even at that level, that you just go into the branch and then you suddenly realize it's so much of hard work, I may or not be able to do it, and you just come back kind of a little step back. That's it.
All right.
Don't worry, you'll
Thank
do
you,
well.
So at
sir.
the end,
So
at
we'll
the
go
end,
with the
1 year here
second
and there
question.
only.
Yeah, so because of the time constraint, I know
Yes.
I have to cut
Yeah.
this short. I'll go with the second question. The second person to raise hand was Kavyam here. Kavyam, over to you. Please ask your question quickly.
Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon, ma'am, teachers, and the esteemed guests present here. So, my question is medical a good career option considering so many people becoming doctors every year?
It is, because so many people are getting even diseased every year.
That was short and crisp. Thank you so much. Yes.
And I will say
Thank you, sir.
dentistry,
Yes.
you know, every individual have a 32 teeth, and you have a 2 set, primary as well as the permanent. And the third set, you have to come to us. So till the point people have a teeth in their mouth, you are in business.
At the same time, we are not, likewise, as Paras said, that we start our journey after 30 years. But then there was a time when I used to look upon my CA friends or my engineering friends, so they have started their journey, they are doing so good into their life. But then, of course, with Paras' guidance and with Dad's guidance, look at, like, just keep on doing what you want to do. And then came a time when then there's no looking back. It's exponential.
So I would say, Umang sir, you all start your journey at 30 years, but then you all never get old.
You never get old.
Yeah.
We
See,
the other
we don't have a
professions start
retirement
early.
age.
Yeah, the other people start early and they get old and they retire. But the more they say, the more the older the wine is, the more tastier or good it is. It's the
That's
same
right.
with doctorate, isn't it?
That's right.
So
That's right.
Yes. So you
that's
must
a
be
nice
paying the
point.
highest consultation fee to the most senior most right now in Lilavati. So if you want to see the most senior most, you know,
So
I
Kavyam, you
choose
can
my
pursue.
patients.
Don't
You know.
worry. Yes, Kavyam,
Yeah.
you can pursue.
Kavyam, yeah.
Uh,
But you
Rakesh,
should be
Thank you, sir.
open for all the field, you know. I think the metro city are a little bit density wise, we are getting overpopulated. Okay, the ratio is now equal. We have enough doctors, maybe you can say in a metro city. But if you are open to go into the tier 2 cities, you know, and the tier 3 cities, the sky is the limit.
Thank you, sir. Kanak, your question
Yeah.
quickly.
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon, and all the guests present here. I had a question about radiology. So many people around me talk about radiology, and I've always been wanting to ask some professional person that what is radiology and what is that feel about, and what is it about, like heart, bones, what is it about? I want to know
Thank you,
that.
Kanak, for the question. I will take that question. So basically, radiology is one of the very, very competitive branch in which in the MBBS, the radiology becomes a kind of a subject which is not taught so much. But when I give a competitive exam after my MBBS, the first 50 people will take radiology, because it is considered to be very very money oriented branch, very much kind of relaxed branch, no emergency branch in which you sit in the cabin, you just report CT scan and MRI. Of course, it has lots to do with how you imagine a human body. It has lots to do with the advances into the medical engineering, the new CT scan, new MRI machines and all those things. But it is one of the branch in India which has been taken up very early. So you have to be really, really competitive when you are aiming to become a radiologist, when you are aiming to become at least a medical radiologist. So that's how it is. It's very tough, but it's doable.
Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
that what Umang
Yes,
told
sir.
is like a MD doctor radiology. And there are branches after BSc where you become the radiology, like you take care of the machine. So you have a bioengineering. So where you can take care of the radiological machines, you know, so there is a MSc or the like you can say a collaboration of engineering and the bio, where you are engineer for those machines, and you can go into the research, develop more kind of radiological machine, and you can say you are like a backbone of again the radiological center, but you are not the one who is reporting it. You are the one who is taking care of the machines, like
Again,
that.
Khaled,
So there are two ways, yeah.
to summarize for you, the radiology means basically to use any instrument over the human body to diagnose the pathology in a human body. Like if I have a pain in my abdomen, I go to radiologist, he will do sonography, in which the ultrasound waves will go into my body, come back, and he will pick up the pathology of an organ. Or I will, if I am breaking my bone, I'll get an X-ray. A radiologist will report whether I have a fracture or not. If I have some major pathology, I'll go to CT scan, MRI. So radiology per se, by meaning, it is finding the pathology in a human body by using the ways of instruments. There could be sonography, there could be X-rays, MRI machines, and anything else, something like that. Yeah.
Thank you so much, doctors. The next question comes from Akshay. Akshay, could you unmute and switch on your camera and ask the question?
Yeah, good morning, ma'am. Good morning, sir. So my question was, what is biochemistry and what are the scopes in biochemistry?
So again, I would like to take this question. Biochemistry, there are some basic science topic which comes in the medical and the dental field as well. Like in the first year, we have anatomy, how the body is made, the physiology, how body functions, the biochemistry, how the cell functions. Even in the dentistry, they have all three subjects. So biochemistry is a very important subject when it comes to how the cell functions. What is the chemistry of at the cellular level? What is sodium potassium balance? What is a glucose cycle? What is how insulin works on the cell? That is biochemistry. I would say a very good branch as a non-clinical branch, but it has lot to do of mugging thing. I mean, you have to really understand and mug up the names really hard. But if you have that interest in chemistry, then it's a very good subject. It's a very good subject.
Thank you so much, sir. Next question by Radhike. Radhike, could you ask your question, please?
Yes, ma'am. I had a question. To pursue medical in 11th and 12th, what is the best combination you should take of subjects?
So Radhika, thank you. But in my time, we only had PCB. We never had a kind of.
Sir, even now we have only PCB. We have only PCB. Maths so they can drop.
So the combination of subject would be, of course, the PCB subjects to pursue medicine in future. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
You have some more questions, Radhika? I think mom is kind of.
I think mom is asking.
All right, Radhika, go on. Ask.
What about psychology and option with the subjects?
To pursue medicine?
So they have a second subject, Group B subject, where they can take either psychology or IT or anything else. So she's asking you, should I take psychology along with PCB?
No, I don't think that will help you to get into a medical thing.
It may not help you in getting it. It may not get into the medicine, but if you are keen towards the psychology in future, then you can do MD, MBBS, and then MD psychology later. Or if you don't go through the NEET, you have an upper hand in finishing your BSc and MSc in psychology, so that it may help you. So it can be like a Group B, it will be your plan B.
But at the same time, psychology are the therapists. They are not doctors. So they are good therapists. They are psychologists. So once you are aiming your branch as a medical, then I rather concentrate on PCB and keep psychology as a least preferred thing, at least for right now when you want to get into the system. Because psychiatrists are different, psychologists are different.
So, sir, can you just explain how does one become a psychiatrist? Because psychologist is easy. You do your BA and MA in psychology, and you become a psychologist. But psychiatrist, so to become
as I mentioned, yes, ma'am. After MBBS, there's MD psychiatrist, there's MD medicine, MD chest physician, MD psychiatry, MD radiology, MD biochemistry, MD physiology, MS anatomy. These are more or like a kind of a bifurcation after post MBBS. And then, of course, the surgical branch, which I already mentioned.
Thank you so much. Another question. I think Jashvi is raising her hand. Jashvi, over to you, beta.
Yes, ma'am. If we become a cardiologist, then can we become a cardiac surgeon?
No. So either you have to become a cardiologist or a cardiac surgeon. You can't have both. That means either you can do angioplasty angiography, which is nowadays mainly like a kind of pushing the surgery beyond a kind of away for a little bit of time. So that thing you can do. That means a cardiology can do a cardiac angioplasty angiography, a kind of some opening of the vessels and something like that. But you can't do both. You can't do both.
All right. So can we take 2 more questions, Umang sir?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm okay with it. Don't worry. Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. Neha, Miss Neha, please ask your question, and after
Yes.
this, keep yourself ready.
So what about BAMS and BHMS? They have scope further?
They have very huge scope. As Paras mentioned, that we have lots of lacunae or lots of kind of empty space between the demand of the society and what MBBS doctor can deliver to the society. And this lacuna has been filled up by Unani, BAMS, BHMS doctors. And of course, with a good policy, if they have a good policy, this lacuna can be fulfilled by in a very better manner. So if you have BHMS or BAMS degree, most of the nursing homes, they have RMOs or a good intensivist as a homeopathy or Ayurvedic doctors. There's nothing wrong in it as far as you are serving the society. Of course, you should be true with your branch, what you are doing. But problem arises when you leave Ayurvedic, do only allopathy with a limited knowledge, and then you do not refer them to a proper allopathy doctor and try to treat by your own self. And that's where the problem arises. Otherwise, it's all okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, beta. Janam, your question, beta.
Good morning, sir. Sir, what is the timeline and path of becoming a neurosurgeon?
Jainam, I couldn't hear your question. Sorry. What is the timeline?
Sir, what is the timeline and path of becoming a neurosurgeon?
There are 3 ways by which you can become a neurosurgeon, Jainam. I'm really amazed by your specific question. So, once upon a time, even I wanted to become a neurosurgeon. So, there's an MBBS course. After MBBS, as I mentioned, there is a MS, which is a Master's in General Surgery for 3 years, and 3 years of Master's or a kind of MCH in neurosurgery. That's 4.5 years of MBBS after your 12th, plus 1 year of internship. That's 5.5 years. Then 3 years of general surgery, 3 years of neurosurgery. Some of the college, they offer you a neurosurgical course only even after MBBS examination. So that's 4.5 years of MBBS, 1 year of internship, and 5 years or 6 years of neurosurgery directly, in which you skip one of the entrance exam. So if you are so focused about becoming a neurosurgeon, you can keep 11.5 years in your mind if you are through your merits, or 1 or 2 years extra if you have some backs, or if you want to get into, or if you do not score well in the CET exams. I have my very good friend, when I was in plastic surgery, he was pursuing neurosurgery course at the age of 46 with 2 kids. So there is no end. There is no end of an age limit. And he pursued well. He is now a very well-known neurosurgeon in Gurgaon. Okay? Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Siddharth, your question. Sorry, Daria, your question, please. After that, Siddharth.
Sir, in these times, I have heard that nursing and other paramedical courses, sir, they are equally important as doctors. So, sir, is there any scope in them?
Of course. At the same time, you can leave. I'm sorry, Paras, I'm taking all the questions. The nursing basically has a very good role, and most of them, the good nursing staff, they travel to Dubai or Saudi Arabia country because they have lots of scope there than in India. But even in India, a good nursing home setup definitely requires a good nursing staff. But there's lots of competition. It's very competitive, very, very competitive.
Thank you, sir.
You don't require to have a medical degree for the nursing. It's a
you don't require.
After the 12th standard, if you have an interest, it's a certification course. There is nothing like a proper degree. It's a certification course in the nursing.
So there's basically, suppose you do your proper nursing course and you come out of the nursing school, but then there are 1 year diploma courses, and most of the nursing home will hire those girls over you because it's a cheap labor for them.
So quite not a very highly recommended as I interpret from this conversation. I now request Siddharth, quickly if you could ask your question, Siddharth.
Good afternoon, ma'am. I want to know that what is the highest qualification in medicine and what is the hierarchy?
I'm very sorry, Beta, but we couldn't hear you. Dr. Paris, can I request you to mute yourself? Dr. Paris, yes. Can you mute yourself, sir?
Hierarchy in this field.
Ask, Beta, ask once more.
I want to know that what is the highest qualification in medicine and what is the hierarchy in this field?
What is the highest qualification in medicine and what is the hierarchy in this field, Dr. Paris?
I think Umang can take it. It's like same. You have a MBBS, then you have a MS or MD. The people who do MD go for DM, and people who do MS like a surgery, they go for the MCH. That is the highest you can say. And higher than that is one, again you can go for the fellowship or PhD. The doctor who do higher than PhD, but as a doctor, the highest degree is DM or MCH.
Thank you
That's
so
11
much.
That's 11 and a half years. That's 11 and a half years after your.
I was just about to ask that. How many years?
11 and a half of studying after the 12th standard. But to make it very clear, if you are a merit holder student, you have to serve the society. You have bonds with
Oh yes.
Have a bond. So you are serving the hospital for 3 years at least if you are a super specialty. So till 3 years. So you are into the system for 14 and a half years.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right.
That's a long.
And just to give you just a figure, suppose if someone wants to buy a seat into a private college for orthopedic surgery, or a girl was asking radiology, a radiology will cost more than 1 crore just for getting the seat, or then the pursuing the education is a different story. And orthopedic surgery would again kind of 1 crore and 1 crore 30 lakhs. So it is that expensive if you go through a private sector. But of course, there are no judgments again. If you have money, if there are business families out there, they want to make their child a kind of a better person or kind of a doctor. So even this is a kind of thing, but that goes up to crores. Yeah.
So I think if you are a merit holder, you don't have to worry about the CR, but that again is a very, it's not easy to become one. So let's not leave the hope here. You can work hard and achieve it, or else make sure that the parents have the crores. So Kanishka, over to you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon, respected dignitaries. My question is there any Army Medical College? How does one apply there? And will that person be able to join Army as a doctor later?
Kanishka, thank you very much for this question. It's a really important question. And definitely there are some Army hospitals, which is AFMC in Pune, which is the Armed Force Medical College. And then there's a research and RNR in Delhi. I don't know the full form now, but research and something referral hospital of Army. And when I was getting into the plastic surgery, I was getting into RNR hospital. But then what avoided me to taking into that admission was a physical fitness one, and then again the bond system. When I pass out from Army hospital, I have to serve the bond to the Army hospital, and then if I get the admission, but if I'm physically unfit to pursue Army, this thing, I have to skip my year. So they don't have, I don't have the surety even after taking the admission. If I'm physically unfit, I'm out of the system. I have to go back to the CET, appear again for the CET. So these are the problems. But of course, once you are in the Army officer, you can serve as an Army officer. You have definitely a different category of Army thing as per the hierarchy, and you do. I have some good friends doing that. Yeah.
So, sir, when you say you have to be physically fit, is your eyesight a major concern there? I wanted to ask this question.
I take that. As Umang mentioned, AFMC and all, so you have a separate exams for AFMC. If you are focused, you can directly enter after 12th standard into the Army. And because at the age of 16 and all, you are physically into that criteria, so not the problem. But you can again go into the army post your masters, post your MBBS or BDS also. If you see the newspaper properly, every year during a month of April or May, you have a recruitment for the army and all. They are called as short-term commission services, where the army hire doctors for 5 years. They are called as short-term commissions, and you serve the country in those 5 years. After that, they are at least in the BDS, you have a bond system. If you want to go with the army, like you want to be army officer, you then the army will pay for your MDS, and you can go into the army hospitals and pursue your MDS. But then you are lifetime serving to the army only. You cannot go back to your, you can say, normal civilian life. You are the army officer, and after BDS you directly enter as a major, and you can come out as a brigadier, more the higher.
Wow,
but
that's
you have a very good life as an army officer. It's a very noble, again, the cause to serve the country, and comparatively they have a more relaxed life. You as a BDS or MBBS as a doctor, you are never with the gun on the front line, but you will be treating the wounded people on the back. You definitely get the training that if the they require somebody on the front, you will be sent on the front also. But you will be doing the arm exercise also.
That's good for those who are athletically strong and also carry a desire to serve the nation, not just as a social servant, as a doctor, but also in terms of protecting and helping the armed forces when they are injured.
Definitely.
So definitely a very good noble cause, as sir said. We are sorry, but we have to end the session, though none of us really want to leave this platform, and there's so much of learning that is multiplying with time as time proceeds. But I understand the commitments that the two doctors have. Dr. Umang has already switched off his camera, which means he's getting ready for the OT. So I now request Ms. Priyanka Jha, the supervisor of the secondary section, to kindly propose the vote of thanks. Ms. Priyanka, over to you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Ma'am, just before we propose the vote of thanks, if we can have a Kodak moment to lock the first successful episode for Anna Ed Talks. So I request everyone to kindly switch on your cameras. And great, students, quickly, can we switch on our cameras? And Pinky Miss?
Yes, kindly, Jay Miltani, others, please switch on your cameras.
Yes.
Dr. Paras and Dr. Umang, if you could say something so that you're appearing on the first page.
Thanks for having us today, and I think more success to you all. We have started with a noble profession, and I think you soon don't get decided. CA people, commerce people, more is coming.
Thank you very much for having me here. And if you have any more doubts, more queries, definitely I'm approachable. Ma'am can just forward my email ID. You can come to my clinic and you can just kind of want to discuss something with me for sure. Thank you, Paras. Thank you, madam.
Sir, no, I am not allowing you to leave. We have to have a smile, all of us, please. Broad smile. And please, can we have the Kodak moment photograph, please, quickly? Done, Ms. Priyanka? All right. Over to you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. On behalf of Aspi Nutan Academy, I feel privileged to extend a very hearty vote of thanks to the speakers of today's session, Dr. Paras Kothari and Dr. Umang Kothari, for gracing us with your presence and sharing your findings and opinions. I'm sure it is going to empower our students, parents, and teachers to take a step ahead and choose the right career path and make informed decisions about their future. I would sincerely like to thank the members of the management of Aspi Group of Schools for their continuous support and motivation. We at Aspi Nutan Academy are forever grateful to our beloved principal ma'am, Mrs. Nuzhat Khan, for initiating Anna Ed Talks and paving a path for our students' brighter future. I would also like to thank the principal of Aspi Nutan English Medium School, Mr. Selva Solomon, and Mrs. Megha Pavaskar, the principal of Aspi Nutan Vidya Mandir, for gracing us with their presence. A special thanks and gratitude to Mrs. Nutan Pandya ma'am for her support and guidance. Last but not the least, thank you students and thank you parents for being a wonderful audience and sparing your time. Wishing you a wonderful and happy weekend ahead. Thank you once again.
Thank you, everyone. And thank you, Dr. Umang and Dr. Paras, for your valuable time. We really are indebted to you for this guidance. And the next session, as you have assured the students, will be for my commerce students. So we will have 2 chartered accountants in episode 2 of Anand Tech Talks. Thank you very much. God bless everyone. Namaste.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.